Hello, everybody. Welcome back. We are with Astrology Victoria. My name is Dulcie, and I'm here with my co-host.
Tatiana and Neptune.
Neptune is here too. Thank you, Neptune, for
Today.
joining us.
Yeah, but so
So,
is Jupiter and the Sun and Saturn and Venus and Mercury is very intense.
yeah, don't want to leave any of the other planets out for sure. They're definitely playing a role. So we are here to talk about the first week of February. We're going to start from Monday, January 31st and ending with Sunday, February 6th. We're going to cover the astrology that's happening over this coming week and get your notepads ready and your charts and compare your charts with the topics that we discuss and take a look at what houses these events are happening in for you, and you'll have a better understanding of how this is going to impact you.
Absolutely. So let's dig in, right, Dulcie?
Ooh, yes.
This year is still intense, especially this beginning of year. It's intense. It will have its beautiful moments as the year progresses, but it's still filled with intensity. It's not necessarily just like all of roses and butterflies and unicorns yet. However, yeah, we do the best we can do with what we have. And starting with this first week of February, we have, the major things is we are going to have this new moon in Aquarius. And this new moon is kind of particular because it's like any new moon is setting up a cycle of themes, and this one in particular is not the happiest new moon. We could say it could be a little bit of a demanding moon, to say the least. Demanding in the best way is like things might get very real and not necessarily like so fluffy at this time of year. So Dulcie, what do you see in particular that this new moon is having that makes it a little bit more of a let's come down to real, to earth kind of time?
Yeah. Well, Saturn is definitely playing a role in this for a couple of reasons. First of all, the new moon is happening in Aquarius, and I'll just draw a circle around it here, which is ruled by Saturn, and Saturn is directly conjunct the new moon as well. Whoops. Here we go. Oh, I see. My mouse has disappeared as per usual. Okay, well, I'm just going to show you. You can see the circle with the new moon. Right next to the new moon is Saturn. So Saturn is kind of a more serious planet. It reminds us of our responsibilities, of things that are important to us, things that we take seriously. And it's kind of like it has a kind of heavier aspect of you could be feeling kind of sad or lonely, or just feeling the weight of the world on your shoulders sometimes. And a good way of working with Saturn is kind of taking it day by day and putting in the work and eventually experiencing the benefit of it, experiencing the benefit of one's hard labors. So I don't see this as a super light and fluffy moon either, just like Tatiana said, but there can be benefits. There can be benefits with kind of recognizing what is important to you. When the beginning of this pandemic happened, everything was serious and heavy. But we did have that perspective, a kind of new perspective of what was important, what it really comes down to. you value your family more and spending time with family, or taking a break and like recognizing that mental health is important, these kind of things. So Saturn can kind of give you that perspective on what is truly important to you.
Yes, the Saturn also asks you to take personal responsibility for your life. Don't expect everything outside to dictate what you are about, because that's exactly what happens. You'll feel the pressure or the oppression from the world, from, from all this that's happening. You might feel the archetypal feel of this moon, sun, Saturn is like you can't really self-express. You don't know why. You feel bad. You feel kind of like this. That's how it feels. Like, and maybe even like you want to be and you can't be, and because you feel you have so many obstacles to just be free to express. So here there's always with Saturn like, well, personal responsibility. What are you going to take into your own hands? So you can take your own life in your own hands and not expect everybody else to dictate your life. So this is kind of a part of that is like, okay, self-reflect. And because Saturn and this new moon, is ruled by Saturn and Uranus, right? We also look like there's a very heavy Saturn ruled chart. There's Capricorn, heavy Capricorn, it's Aquarius. So this is what I call reality check, like big reality check, like look around you, what's happening, and how can you affect this reality with your choices. And that's the thing, we always have choices, and one choice leads to an action, and then that action to another and another. And this is the time to look at those choices and what choices have we been making for ourselves, our families, for the future, for our earth, a lot of that. And are we making responsible choices, or are we just like crazy, just doing whatever? This is part of this energy. And now the big part of this energy is the square to Uranus. This new moon with Saturn on this first week does not come alone. And this square will be feeling it. We have been feeling it all over 2021. It's still going to be active until almost the whole year 2022. So it's not over. This sensation of maybe being oppressed, being forced to do things, like not being able to do what you want. And then this square is like, can you play the song, Dulcie, please, at this moment?
Oh, yes, of course.
Yes, so let's do that again. So we're feeling like this, and then suddenly 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I want to break free. I want to break free.
That's all I'm allowed to play.
Exactly. So you see, this is what it's feeling like. It's like there's a desire for something new. We've been seeing this all over the whole 2021. What happened there? Something moved in your chart.
We're at Sun Square Uranus.
Well, Chiron is now in the mix. What happened there?
I don't know.
You're squaring. Oh yeah, there you go. Now it's Chiron there. No. So yeah, this feeling of wanting to break free and of needing to, it could be also a very restless, like rebellious, right? The square to the sun and the moon is feeling rebellious. It's gonna like pinch your rebel streak, and that's like the difficult part of the square is feeling the need to just rebel and just like scream and go on like rah, and be and that's the nature of it, is this feeling. So yeah, it's very interesting because, and again, we are not necessarily here to discuss politics or what's going on, but things are happening. And we, for example, here in Canada, they announce, or at least they're trying to, or there's this idea that they want to create a tax for the people who have chosen not to take a vaccine. Go figure, right? And you're like, oh, wow, this is a very interesting time. So we did find a clip that is very illustrative of this this time. So if you feel like this and this is you or people you see around you, there it goes.
Oh, esti de calice de tabarnak, man. Is it possible that as time it goes on, things are getting fucking worse? And is it just me or is Quebec a special kind of fucked up? Just today they say that now they're gonna tax the people who did not take the vaccine. That makes less fucking sense than a Pablo Picasso painting. How the fuck did you come up with that? I mean, listen, if you're gonna tax us, then that means you're gonna have to tax a whole bunch of fucking people, okay? You're gonna have to tax the people who smoke, because they develop something, they end up in the hospital, clog the system. You're gonna have to tax all the people who eat unhealthy because they're gonna clog the system. You're gonna have to tax all the people who drink too much fucking Labatt 5 out because they end up in the hospital and clog the system. Basically, you have to tax everyone who's not fucking Jesus Christ.
So
Yeah,
this
this
is
is a perfect expression of all these planets with
Yeah.
Uranus just bah!
Yeah. And the Capricorn energy, because the Capricorn energy is also it's also about our society, what we strive for. Like, it's the serious energy of the zodiac. It's what we get done. It's how we create our cities, our businesses, our and it's putting into question all of this, as Pluto is going through those last degrees of Capricorn. And this is it. And Uranus is now it's a firecracker. It's like, okay, when is too much, and you see this energy is very rebellious. It's not like nice and fluffy and easy. So the task here is to take advantage. Then we'll talk about the trines that we have, so that we can use that desire to break free and build new things that are completely new, that are new ways of getting our resources, new ways of stuff, without having to go into literally the civil war against whatever. There's ways to create new things and come to new agreements and new societal agreements and new structures and systems. This is the push that we're having at this beginning. So if you're feeling like this square is going to inform a lot of the year. So it's not like it's just this week, but so that you bear in mind that whenever you're feeling like that guy, take a deep breath like this and go, let it sink, so you can actually take advantage of the other energies. So that's my little take. So what do you have to say about that, Dulcie?
And just a note that this new moon is happening in Aquarius, and Aquarius has to do with ideas, activism, innovative thinking, the collective good, and outsiders, people who are on the outside of what is the norm. So I can see any type of the topics we've just been discussing, kind of wanting to break free and rebelling against the system, having to do with some of those topics as well.
Okay, let's move on. Okay, so the Sun Square Uranus, we just covered that. That's exactly what we're talking about. Like, that's rebellious streak. And
so just we're the way that we think we're going to go forward with these videos is paying attention to a 3-degree orb. So rather than going day by day saying this exact transit is happening on this day, we're going to give you an idea of what is happening this week and the kind of energies that you're going to be feeling that week based on this 3-degree orb. So the Sun Square Uranus, it's happening between January 28th until February 2nd. February 2nd is a Wednesday, so it goes up until Wednesday this week. And that's when it's within that 3-degree orb, and so that kind of energy will be happening across those days. And it did go exact on January 30th. But yes, we did discuss this as well. So let's move on to the next slide. So we have Mercury turning direct. We've just had a nice period of Mercury retrogrades. It started in Aquarius and it retrograded back into Capricorn. And now on Thursday, February 3rd, it's going to turn direct at 24 degrees Capricorn.
Finally.
I believe it went from 10 degrees Aquarius all the way back to 24 degrees Capricorn. So any planets that you have between those degrees will have been hit by Mercury and they will have been activated and relevant. So take a look at your chart and take a look at what houses these two houses are in, of Aquarius and Capricorn, and you'll have an idea of what kind of topics were highlighted during this retrograde.
Yeah, and whatever you were thinking of, rethinking, reviewing, maybe plans that you had to review, or things that you were thinking of, you had to review. Now, once Mercury goes direct, it's like, again, it's action time. It's time to implement things. It's time to talk about things, to, just get things moving forward. Now, most of the energy is direct, like everyone's direct. So once Mercury leaves the retrograde, yeah, all our planets are like direct, which means it's a lot of energy that it's now it's go time for everything, especially because Uranus is also direct. And now all these changes that need to be implemented, all this movement forward, this evolutionary push into whatever's new, it's going to start showing up in our reality. We're going to start seeing it and not so much thinking about it, talking about it. In our minds is going to be starting to be seen as things that are going to be implemented. So yeah, that's that.
Yeah, we'll be seeing it playing out in the world, and this will also be a time for you to take whatever, like Tatiana said, that you've been reflecting on, that you've been revising, reviewing, all the RE words, of course, and then putting those into action. You have a much better understanding of your Aquarius and Capricorn areas in your chart and what you want to do about them and where to go from here.
And next we have,
let's move on.
So our sextiles are the opportunities we have within these energies that are happening of like anger or whatever, or oppression, or feeling to break free. The sextiles is something that just gives us like, hey, if you do this, then you'll get these results. It's not just you're just doing it. It's something I need to take advantage of. And Mars sextile Jupiter definitely gives us I wrote here, a boost of positive action energy. And if you're going to do something, and you have already ideas in mind how to affect actual changes in your life, in your routines, in how you're conducting your businesses, your life, your priorities, your money, all of that, Jupiter in the sextile is giving you it's like a cheerleader going, do it, and there's something, because it's in Pisces, it's almost an energy that comes from another place that's pushing you, almost like your angels whispering, come on, you can do it. And then you just actually do it. That's a little bit how I feel about this energy, that it prompts to action and it gives it's like a boost of energy, like having a Red Bull,
Yeah, I'm on the same page as you. Jupiter is the greater benefic in Hellenistic astrology, and it's a helpful planet in general, depending on where it's placed and how it's placed. But especially in Pisces, Jupiter is in its own sign and has a lot of strength and is able to really help you out. So the fact that it's joining up with Mars to kind of get things done, its generous nature is going to help you in whatever endeavor that you are exploring. And it started January 30th and it's going to go until February 10th. So all of this week and part of next week as well.
So take advantage of those things, that those insights, because also we will see also Mercury in that mix as well, like those insights that you get, like, oh, I should be doing this, and it, like, pay attention to your own soul speaking, and then don't just kind of sit in the couch and just go like, oh, good. No, if you have an insight or a dream or something, like, kind of write it down and go like, I'm just gonna do it, and you'll see, because it's a sextile. It's not necessarily like, it's just this opportunity energy that goes like, well, you have to kind of get up and do it, you know. Yeah, that's that. So next, next in line we have well, the Sun conjunct Saturn exact, which we already talked about with the new moon, but the exact day is going to be February 4th. So, people, here is the good news, and the let's say we can, okay, well, we have a little, like, 5 more minutes to talk about all this, so we don't do like super long videos, but Sun conjunct Saturn. So, people, if you are born between January 30th and February 10th, you're an Aquarian. July 30th and August 10th, you're Leo. October 30th and November 10th, Scorpio, or April 30th and May 10th, Taurus. If your birthday falls anywhere along those lines, this means that this energy that we have been describing of feeling like you need to take personal responsibility, that you might feel like you're not being fully expressed, that life is kind of challenging because it's the fixed cross, it's all these fixed signs. The reality check might be speaking to you again, to your sense of self, purpose, personality. You might feel like you can't be you somehow, and that you have to somehow navigate this with a little bit of effort. And again, Saturn will always reward effort. Remember that. Effort means, okay, you gotta do something and step up. It does not feel comfortable. These energies don't feel fluffy, but they push you to action. And like, slow action over time creates great results. So yes, that's the fixed cross. So if you have this on your solar return, your happy birthday, and work this year with taking personal responsibility, making sure you know what you want, like working for who you are without letting others dictate you. Otherwise, it could feel very oppressive, and we don't want that. We want to break free. That's what we're trying to do here, and it requires, it's it's an uncomfortable feeling of like, yeah, and that will push you to certain kind of action. So that's that regarding the.
And this is happening all this week. It goes up until Monday of next week. And I would say that this isn't anything new for people of these birthdays. Saturn has been kind of hanging out in Aquarius and retrograding, and then has moved forward again. So having Saturn either conjunct your sun, opposite your sun, square your sun, it's kind of a similar heavy nature, and you've been experiencing it for the past few months. So this is just kind of a continuation of this. You've already kind of gotten a handle on how to endure this, what to do about it, what this is about, and you're probably kind of starting to feel the end of it at this point as well.
And this too shall pass. That's what I always, when we see these harder aspects, it's like there's a reason for them to be there, for us to, make the best choices possible for our lives. But this too shall pass. So yes, if you're like really tired of feeling like this, then don't worry, this too shall pass. Yeah, next. Yeah.
All right. So we have Mercury sextile Neptune, and it doesn't go exact. So I didn't write an exact date. It just kind of stays in that 3-degree orb for 2 days. So Mercury sextile Neptune is February 3rd, which is Thursday. So Thursday and Friday, 3rd and 4th.
And this, again, like every sextile, there's something you can do with this energy. dare to dream. Like, you know, it's Neptune and Mercury. It's like, it's dream energy. It's tap into your dreams, into your senses, into the kindness of your heart, into love, fluff, dreams, visions, and just because Mercury is in Capricorn, get your scissors, get your magazines, get your cutouts, and make a vision board. That's exactly the energy for this. So if you're scheduling with your friends when you're going to do your 2022 vision board, well, it's going to be either Thursday, Friday, or Saturday, you know, roughly. Do it and actually do it. Why? Because this energy will crystallize your dreams. This is like taking dreams, visualizing them, actualizing them, at least putting them in paper, Capricorn, and with like a goal. And this can definitely actualize, because anything we think and we put positive energy into and love, and we actually do the action of writing or collaging or drawing, that helps our neural pathways to kind of go, this is what I want. So don't miss out on the opportunity of your vision board this year. And if you already did it, great, do another one or expand it or make a little plan for it. Dare to dream. This is what I would say with this. What do you think?
Yeah, I love that. Another idea that we had come up with was brainstorming, since Mercury combining with Neptune isn't necessarily relying on its rational side. It's kind of more like exploring what's possible in the mind. So brainstorming is all about writing down one's ideas and not judging them. And the less you judge them, the more creative you can get with your ideas. So this kind of this aspect is good for that kind of activity. I would also say that you might be feeling a little bit more intuitive, sensitive, empathetic with others. You're kind of feeling things more rather than using your rational mind. And it's a good time for spiritual pursuits and meditation and kind of exploring that kind of realm.
Excellent.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's move on.
Yeah. Cool. This I'm going to read from book.
All right. So we have Mercury and Pluto making contact again. Hooray.
Again, in Capricorn.
Yeah. It was exact on January 28th, and it will be conjunct within that 3-degree orb between January 26th and February 14th. So all of this week and all of next week, you'll be feeling it.
And this Mercury-Pluto conjunction, it's really about uncovering anything. It's deep self-exploration, insight into emotional causes and motivations. And this is from one of our favorite books, Ren Butler's Archetypal Universe. An interest in criminology or depth psychology, a gift for persuasive communication. Or if it's the shadow side, it's mental struggles and obsessions, fear of one's dark or shadow thoughts, harmful and destructive communication, aggressive dogmas and beliefs, crude speech. So whether you sit on one side of the spectrum or the side, this might be uncovering a lot of dirt, you know, from anything that's also, because it sits in Capricorn, related to power structures, to people in power, to bosses, to, you know, so there might be either you uncovering your own self-motivations for, you know, doing what you do, and that's the best energy, is to use it for self-exploration and going, where have I not been in integrity? That's kind of part of it, because Capricorn like wants integrity. So where have I not been in integrity? How can I come back to integrity? What is my integrity? You know, all of that stuff. And if not, there's also this energy of uncovering and discovering other people's lack of integrity, and it will come out the end, poof, to be shown and to be corrected and then rectified. Yeah. So there was this trial for this lady that was in the Theranos case, you know, and finally she's being convicted, and, you know, again, for fraud, for all of that, abuse of power, when you're at the top and you can uncover things. And at some point, things crumble. And
Now, this was the blood testing trial, right? Where she claimed to be able to run a bunch of tests on blood tests.
This, and then she robbed of billions of dollars from investors and used like lots of fraudulent techniques. And this trial has been going on for the past weeks, and this is what happens. This is that kind of energy, is this uncovering of where we have fallen out of integrity and things get exposed, and there's consequences. It's Capricorn, so there's also the energy of consequence, because this is a Saturn ruled sign. There's, to every action, a consequence. How long can you keep something? Eventually these things get exposed. So we could expect a lot of people in power to be there might be a lot of disclosure, or at least people, because this Mercury we wanna go to the depths of it, right? That could be part of that. And there is a trine also. I mean, this whole Capricorn energy is trining that Uranus energy, that Taurus energy. So we're trining the North Node. You see, the North Node is trining this Pluto Mercury. So there's almost like the North Node's there. Yeah. So almost like a push. There's the Capricorn energy, Mars, Venus, trining Uranus that we will talk about in a bit. And then there's this other trine of this Mercury. It's like whatever we're leaving behind, Pluto, and recycling and putting to, cutting off, that we're committing to releasing, it's only going to push us forward into the new. So again, I with this energy, I always think back to integrity and what integrity means, and if we can do that self-exploration within us, and what is integrity for us in our life, what we're doing, what we're projecting, then we're using this energy in a very positive way. That's my take on it. I don't know, Dulcie, what do you?
Yeah, I like that you pointed out the North Node's play in this, because the North Node in Hellenistic astrology is associated with making things bigger and growth. So its role in this is only going to intensify the intensity. Another thing that I was thinking of with the Mercury Pluto is the power of persuasion. So one of my pet peeves is when people confidently say something that they're not sure of, like whether it's true or not. So I absolutely love when people say, I think this is the case, but I don't know for sure. And then you can check, you can do some research. But people will often say things that they're not sure of, but they'll say it confidently. And that is really tricky, and it confuses people, and it gets people to believe things that are not necessarily true.
That's called or gaslighting.
Yeah, or some, yeah,
which is part of this aspect in its negative form. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it's not necessarily about lying. Perhaps the person thinks I'm most likely correct, but I don't know for sure, but I'd still like to save face and be confident about it.
Yeah.
But it's in line with the fraud case that you were talking about, a woman kind of stating confidently into what she can do and not being able to deliver on that.
Exactly. That's part of it. And it only pushes us to grow and make new choices, better choices, and also to be responsible. It's Capricorn again. It's what has our society done? And we're seeing these things, right? And that's why when we take these energies to our personal life, it's for us to see, okay, where is my integrity? What are my hidden motivations? How do I communicate? How do I think, about power and, power and status, and, all of this helps us always go within and think about this in our interactions, so we can make the best choices based on integrity and consequence. There's nothing like Capricorn, Saturn. Consequence is always a thing. Mm-hmm. So next cycle is asking us to be, okay, well, what's the consequence, right? Of our thoughts, our words. If we speak negatively and we say a lie or whatever, there's a consequence to it. So this is what it helps us do, to reevaluate that. And then finally, I think we have one more.
Oh, we have a few more, but the next 3 slides involve Uranus. So
it's the prime,
full aspects with Uranus. So I'll quickly go over what the dates are and then
Yes.
just discuss those. So we have Venus trining Uranus between January 18th and February 10th. So this week, all of this week and part way through next week. We have Mars trining Uranus as well, since Venus and Mars are together from February 4th to February 12th. So partway through this week, starting on 4th, which is a Friday, I believe. Yeah, Friday into next week. And it's exact on the 8th. So starting next week, it goes exact. And then we have Jupiter sextiling Uranus between February 4th, so starting Friday, until all the way till March 3rd. So all of February, essentially, Jupiter will be sextiling Uranus. So that's a lot of Uranus energy. Where do you want to start, Tatiana? Do you want to just kind of put it all together?
Clearly the Venus-Mars, it gets bunched together to that chart. It's not just Venus alone or Mars alone, it's both. Both as a team are trining Uranus. So this is, first of all, a lot of Earth energy, a lot of support to make the changes. What happens with Mars and Venus? Venus brings a little bit of grace to Mars, and Mars brings assertion to Venus and what we love and what we want. So it's a good pairing of action-oriented energy with a little bit more grace and more toning down, right? More is the masculine, feminine, is the action, and then the softness or the diplomacy, right? So there could be, one of the options is like, we're making these changes. Uranus is pushing to change in our finances, in our plans, in our goals, in what we want to create. It's very grounded. It's Earth. It's action time. Is what are we actually doing and actualizing our goals? So this energy helps us to create those changes. And let's say with respect to what's going on with the square with Uranus, if we're like stressed and I want to be free and like, oh, I feel oppressed, well, this energy with Venus can bring the diplomacy necessary to effect these changes, whatever they are, without necessarily going to a fight. Venus helps to soften the edges of Mars, and so we can affect these changes with a little bit more grace. We can go to action with a little bit more grace. Like, well, in my case, I am literally moving, changing like residence, and I already started packing. There's like, it's not so much thinking about it now, it's the action. Now we're doing it. It's happening, and I'm looking to to almost go off grid. That's part of I'm moving to a place where I can actually grow food and farm, which is funny. A lot of people now are in this kind of same desire, and we just feel it everywhere. Wherever you see, there's somebody wanting to move to the countryside and plant a garden. It's like, wow, go figure. Well, this is already happening. It's actualizing. So these are the kinds of things, or also diplomacy, using tact and diplomacy to create these like new structures that are being pushed by Uranus, and our desires, Venus, our money, our values, all of that, and what actions are we taking to creating those changes. So this is a positive aspect. It's helping us ground that. That's my take.
Yeah, definitely. I'm totally in agreement with you there. And so Mars's interaction with Uranus might encourage us to be taking more risks, and Venus's interaction with Uranus, like you said, will help with interacting with other people and kind of softening those interactions and reducing the risk of confrontation and conflict. And it can also bring new situations that we were not expecting, but it might be kind of positive and beneficial and pleasant surprises with its interaction with Uranus, bringing the surprising aspects. And yes, so as you had said, combining Mars and Venus, I imagine that this will help with collaborating with other people. These two kind of opposing energies, Venus and Mars, kind of masculine, feminine, yin and yang, combining together is definitely beneficial for bringing balance and for recognizing the values that other people bring. You know, you might have one skill and recognizing that someone else has another skill and valuing that in other people. I think that will be helpful for that.
Yeah, let's work together. Yeah. Yeah, that seems to be, that's the great thing about astrology, is we can see that there's lots of things simultaneously happening, right? This is like, it's not like it's separate. Everything's happening simultaneously, and it's how we navigate these different energies, right? And take advantage of these energies. And so I think we have one last one.
Just to take a quick look at the Venus-Mars conjunction, that's going to be happening for quite a while, essentially all of February. So right at the end of this week on Sunday, February 6th, is when they're within orb of each other, all the way up until March 21st. So the rest of February and most of March, Venus and Mars will be conjunct each other. They'll be together. I believe they're together in Capricorn, and they're also, am I right, together in Aquarius? I think they moved together into Aquarius, but they go exact on March 4th. Right, yes, they do. So right at the end, on the 29th degree of Capricorn, they have their exact conjunction on March 4th, and then they move into Aquarius and have some more exact conjunctions there.
Yeah, great time to, you know, get your finances in order, go to the bank, like do your taxes, like all of the Capricornian things, get your businesses in line, like what, or if you happen to have a budding new business that's maybe changing something, that it's a good time to get it organized, to have your goals, your brainstorms of what we're going to do, how we're going to do it, the planning, the acting on it. Like there's all of that with the Capricorn energy, is how we're grounding our structures for the future. It's really like powerful right now, and with confidence as well, because, you know, Mars has a streak of like confidence and just going for it, especially because we do have a sextile too with Jupiter. So Jupiter adds confidence. It adds the fact that, yes, you can do it. Remember we said it's a cheerleader? Well, so there you go. You have the cheerleader Jupiter pushing towards this new phase. So have confidence in yourself. This is also a great time to have confidence in your abilities and your capacity to ground stuff. And if you're not necessarily have a lot of Capricorn in your chart or Earth energy, then tap into it, tap into this, and even say to yourself, like, because the Sun Saturn can paralyze you. Sun Saturn can be paralyzing sometimes, like it's too hard, like reality is difficult, I can't move, like I can't move, I can't express. But then we have all these other energy that says, no, yes, I can, and I will, and no matter who says what, I'm just going to do it. Nobody's gonna dictate it to me. I'm gonna dictate it for myself, for my future. How am I getting my resources, my food, my stuff, like how I collaborate with others to get that? That's the energy of this. And yes, it's time to, you know, roll up the sleeves, get to work, and create those new situations for yourself that are going to be better, let's say, and lining up with your personal sense of integrity. I go back with Capricorn is all about integrity. Integrity is being whole and aligned and coherent with your values, coherent, you know, with what you love and you want. It's also Venus. So that's what we have to use this energy for. And every person has a different set of core values and a different set of desires. And so every person's different. And that's how we create a society that, okay, works based on what spirit is dictating, you know, Jupiter back here and Neptune. And it's all good. Like having that trust and the divine is going to be major once Jupiter hits Neptune sometime in April. That's when we're going to go poof, right? So yeah, don't get caught up in Saturn too much, basically, is what I'm saying. So yeah, so should we wrap it up, Dulcie? It went a little bit longer than we expected, but we get and so do you. So please leave us your comments in leave us your comments if you have been experiencing any of this within the past like weeks, and how this week is for you, and if you're making any changes and how this is going. The recap of the thing is, yes, there's tension, yes, there's oppression, yes, there's desire to rebel, but then there is the possibility to have some personal responsibility for yourself and take action into things with a little bit of grace, doing vision boarding. All of that is expected. So take the best of the energy and make the best of it. And we're creating a new society. That's what I think with all this Aquarian paradigm. So you take it in your own hands. Don't expect anybody else to dictate it for you. So Dulcie, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm in agreement with you there. Yeah, thanks everybody for joining us. For the first week of February, we'll be back for the next few weeks of February as well. Feel free to join us on Facebook. We are Astrology Victoria on Facebook, and you'll see any events that we have coming up. We have an Astro Chat coming up on Sunday. I should have had the dates ready.
You know, but that's we don't have it. That was
oh shoot.
Yeah,
in time.
We'll give you the date for the next
Astro Chat. Yeah, we'll share the dates on Facebook. So join us on Facebook, and you'll be updated for those.
Yeah, you can also join us on Meetup and Instagram. And if you want to see our offerings as well for readings, and if you don't know what all this means for you, make sure, like, if you have your birthday on those dates that we said, like, you know, hit us up and we'll do your solar return to help you navigate this. So so that's also we'll leave the links below, so how you can find us and get some astrological help. All right, are we all good, Dulcie?
We are good. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Thanks, Tatiana. And
thanks, Dulcie.
We'll see you next week.
We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.